Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Vole and Autarr Gamecast, a podcast about video games. This marks our second proper recording. How are we feeling, Space Autarr?
It's me, Space Autarr. I came from space, and I am an otter. I played with the pebble, and then I ate an oyster. Whoop whoop. That's the Space Autarr mating call. Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop, okay.
Hi.
Right, I'm not really sure what the Vole mating call is. Probably sounds very squeaky.
Squawk.
Squawk, I guess.
Moo.
Yeah, that's probably more like the go for the eyes boo kind of thing, but I'd like to think that I sound like Boo. Huh?
Maybe.
You know who Boo is, right?
Yes, I do. It's the kid in Monsters Inc. from the classic Pixar movie Monsters Inc.
No, I've not watched that.
Oh.
I'm referring to the. It's a Baldur's Gate reference, and I don't know if this reference exists in the new Baldur's Gate, so I'm old.
I don't know. I'm expecting the physical edition of Baldur's Gate in the next few months. I don't know when. Probably summer.
I think that's. Wasn't that like late April that they were supposed to start sending those out?
Well, that will be the first round of the physical edition. There's a second round that is coming in July for me. Because I ordered it a bit late because I bought it for myself for Christmas.
Just for context, we're recording here in the late April.
It's late April.
We're not really sure at this point when these will start coming up, because we're trying to build a little bit of a backlog because our schedule's a little bit all over the place. So That's also to say that if you send us anything, any messages on anything about the podcast, the one podcast, yes, the one and only, because it's such a rare thing to have two guys doing a podcast about video games.
Are we white too?
Yeah, like what a niche.
Whoa. Well, we're Mediterranean though. I don't know a lot of Mediterranean two men doing it in English in the UK in late April, where spring has clearly not sprung yet.
You could argue that we're a bit of a darker shade of white.
I'm pale as fuck, man. I don't know what you're talking about. If I stay out in the sun for 10 minutes, I just turn to a lobster.
Averagely? What the fuck is that word?
Averagely. Averagely. It's gonna be the protagonist of our new story. Averagely. He comes back home. Hey, honey, I came back from the office business. Business good today. Wow, I love that you made the food. Ooh. Oh, my Labrador Retriever is here. The most average of dogs.
I mean, not to shit on Labrador Retrievers, but that is the first dog that comes to mind when I think of dogs.
Yeah, I think that's the first dog that comes to mind when most people think of dogs.
So, yeah. Speaking of averages, what do you think about the average length of video games these days?
Video games these days. Shaking a fist. Now you cannot hear it because it's an audio.
These days, back in my day, video games were not their average length.
Well, let's take it back a bit.
Right.
It is the modern times. Everything is extremely expensive. I'm no longer making jokes, people. Sorry. My comedic charisma cannot carry the entire episode. I need to talk about things eventually. But let's say it is an extremely busy time. We both are working full time, sometimes more than full time, trying to barely make ends meet. Sometimes we gonna come back home and we're gonna be very tired. And like for a normal everyday working person, let's say the average playtime of the day is probably an hour, couple of hours. I don't know.
Yeah, I think a couple of hours is probably pushing it on some days, especially. Well, it depends. If you have a family, I think even an hour might be pushing it. But let's say for us, average working Joes with no families, other than pets.
You have chores, you have shit to do, you have to cook and shit, and you have to go to bed early to wake up the next day to go to your soul-sucking job. And it so happens that every single video game that comes out there right now, at least the AAA ones more, but even in like smaller releases, although I hate AAA as a term, but anyway, we can move on.
Quadruple A.
Quintuple A. We are so much money in our games.
The big productions, anyway, the console exclusives and the stuff that come out of the big publishers, the things that
cost millions.
The blockbusters.
Yeah, the blockbusters, the ones that cost millions. They're so fucking long. And there's not enough time to play everything. And that thing has kind of, over the years, and I think this is a trend more recently. So I would say the last 5 years of video games have started pushing length even more. Actually, when was The Witcher 3 released?
I think it was late 2014?
Or
2015. Maybe it was 2015. I can't remember, but it was somewhere there. It was mid last generation.
So I have a feeling that since that got released, maybe that and Breath of the Wild at the same time, video games have started like pursuing like a length that is not viable for everyone. And at least for me, I have seen this being on to the detriment of like a lot of games out there, and just wanted to see how you feel about it.
When you say the detriment, what do you mean?
I mean, if it's something it's nice, but it's insanely long, eventually it just runs out of steam. Like padded.
Also, the games, the detriment to the quality of games, you mean?
Yeah, but however, length has become synonymous to quality. Like a lot of time, people are looking at games thinking, how long does this game need? Oh, 300 hours. Awesome. I'll play this thing forever. And I've got people like that out there, but I don't think we are there.
I'm not so sure how much of that exists on that extreme end, but there's certainly a lot of opinions that seem to be shared by a lot of people that if a game is short, then it's not worth either the money or the time, or generally counts against it. Like, oh, this game is too short, so it shouldn't cost this much. It's not good enough. Or the one I really, really hate, and it bugs me, the developers are lazy. Because that's exactly what devs are, lazy. They go to the office and go, you know what, I can't be asked to work today, I'm gonna make a really short game.
Yeah, I mean, wow. At this time, taking a shit on developers, it's like,
I know.
It's like hitting someone when they're already down.
Yeah, like it's such a common thing that I've seen on online comments. Shit. Either a game is short, devs are lazy. A game has bugs, devs are lazy. A game is not whatever the marketing department or the publisher decided to push. Well, it's because the game devs are lazy, man. They should get off their asses and actually make a video game. What the fuck are these people living on?
I haven't seen this one, to be honest, online. I have seen a lot of discourse because like something is too short, and personally, I kind of cherish it when I get a game lately that is like short. I'm like, yeah, I can get the ending of that game. That's cool. I can actually have an experience that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. and I'm not gonna stop feeling anything eventually. And I think we can both bring examples in the pot and like talk about it and how length has affected games both positively and negatively in the past. It's really up to you as well, whatever you want to throw in. Is there something that in the past you played and it was too long? Certainly way too long.
Well, it depends a little bit for me on the kind of game and the genre. Like, something like, and this might be a bit of a hot take, but something like the God of War. Or maybe even Uncharted. And I want to bring up Uncharted specifically because, like, the original trilogy length, the original Gears trilogy length, that seemed like a really nice sweet spot for me when it comes to linear, cinematic, blockbustery type video games.
Are we talking about between 6 and 12 hours?
Yeah, something like that. Like, let's go maximum like 15 if you really have a lot of content to do. And also, I play slowly, so I realized that, all right, maybe that's something to add here as a disclaimer, that I'm a really slow gamer. Like, I like to take my time to look at the environments. I walk a lot instead of run in video games and stuff like that.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Sometimes I'm slow in my thinking as well, so I don't really catch on to things. So, anyway, I'm saying this because sometimes when if I mention duration of games, maybe you should assume that the average would be maybe 3 to 5 hours shorter than
I'll go with a percent. I would say 20% shorter.
Well, okay. Recent example, although we're kind of veering a little bit all over the place with the topic here, but Alan Wake 2. That was a long game.
Not for many people. Some people would say it's short.
They thought it was too short?
Mm-hmm. I've heard that.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And I spent almost 30 hours on it.
Right. It took me 40 hours to finish.
I don't remember exactly, but it was more than 20.
I mean, no, actually, it was more than 40 because my save was, I think, at nearly 40 hours, but that didn't include the replays and stuff like that. If I look at my stats on my Xbox, I think I'm more like close to 50 or like 45.
In any case, in what planet is 30 hours too short?
I know, right? And but to calibrate, I think if you go on how long to beat, the average completionist length is maybe 28 hours or something, or 25. I could look it up, but it's somewhere in the mid-20s. I don't think it's 40 hours.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
But anyway, yes, it doesn't matter. But that's very surprising. I'm really surprised that people thought Alan Wake 2 was short.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I was gonna bring it up as a game that was actually long but did well, and it didn't outstay its welcome, and the pacing was good and all that stuff, and people thought that was short. So, why do you think people think this?
That games are too short, or that Alan Wake 2 is too short?
I mean, Alan Wake is an example, but what do you think? I mean, we're guessing here, but we're not doing any research on this, but what's your guess about why this opinion seems to be so pervasive?
Well, I mean, we were talking before, or I was ranting before about things being too expensive and people not having enough time. But I think at this point, when length comes in play, it also like kind of means like value in a way. Because if you are to spend £60 to play a 10-hour game or £60 to play a 50-hour game, probably 50-hour game seems like the better value. At least on the surface.
As in pound per minute or something.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I think this is one of the things that comes out. And especially like with companies, like bigger companies at least, this is marketable because they can basically just go and say that we are giving you, what's it called, bang for the buck or whatever.
Bang for buck, yeah.
That shit.
We're giving you more for your money, yeah.
Yeah, but in reality, it's like a lot of the time, at least, this is very superficial or artificial in a way.
Yeah, I would argue that is quantity, it's not quality.
Yeah, and I think that there has not been a good distinction between the two, and that brings us to guess who I'm punching.
Ubisoft. I think it goes a little bit further back. I wonder if a lot of this is related to Bethesda.
It is possible. It is possible that your Morrowind to Skyrim, let's say, things got bloated in a way.
Or they got a little bit out of hand in terms of what is. Actually, I don't know. Like, obviously, from the point of view of the publishers, they probably want you to engage with their product and not go buy other products. They want you to keep you away, I assume, from what they see as the competition. If you're playing their game, you're not going to go and buy another game.
And that comes more now that people push more DLC, let's say. So if they
or live service games, like it's all about engagement instead of here's a quality artwork. It's more like here's a subscription for you. Keep paying us. Keep engaging with us because we need to show monthly engagement numbers. It's even sales don't even matter anymore because they cannibalize their own market as well. Like Ubisoft releases many games, but how many people can play multiple games of that kind at the same time?
Not many. I don't have enough time. Like, I need to kill games, basically. Like, just telling to myself that, okay, this is too long. I cannot add it in that because this is going to take the place of 50 other things. Ubisoft is one of the companies that basically make games that I just cannot engage with anymore. It is impossible for me to just even try to do so. And leaving aside their horrible business practices, it is a matter of like how mindless everything that they give you to do is. Apart from
which is it's a shame on some level because I think their environmental artists in a lot of games do an amazing job.
But I don't think it's a matter of the artists or the developers. This is something that's just being pushed by algorithms.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. It's a shame for the like. I was playing just to bring that motherfucking thing into the conversation, that elephant, as we're talking about Ubisoft. I was playing The Crew the last week before they shut it down, and I was thinking, people like put hours and hours into making this game. So much effort. They sacrifice things of their lives to do this, to work for that publisher to do this. And now this is going to disappear. No one's going to be able to see their work anymore.
Yeah.
Like if we consider games that they have some artistic value, this is like going into a library and just going, fuck all these books. We're burning them down now.
Basically. And
then coming into your house and getting your copy as well, by the way, because that's what Ubisoft started doing. They started like taking back the licenses from people that they had bought The Crew, deleting it from their libraries.
And and look, I'm gonna step away from criticizing Ubisoft on the quality of the storytelling because it always feels very surface and rushed, and I don't feel they really care about putting out a good story. But their side content is very just like a checkmark list, and you say that maybe it's Bethesda. However, even on the side content, they were still even when it was bad, they were still, at least in the past, not anymore. Not since Fallout 4. Well, even Fallout 4 had some effort. But
I've not played that one, so I can't really comment on that. But Skyrim, I mean, I didn't mention Bethesda to say that Bethesda caused this problem, but because, I think I'll let you make your point first.
Sure, it sure created the standard for length and quality. However, they did it for the time. Skyrim was an achievement, and a lot of the side content was worked on and, let's say, bespoke. Someone like sat down and thought about a quest. Did everything work? No. Do I think that every single one of the quests were put the same amount of love and effort and everything? No. Were there a lot that were fun to do? Yes, there were. And no matter where Bethesda is right now, which is not a good place at all, Skyrim did do some good things. Was Skyrim perfect? Not even close. I don't think so. But it did do some things that helped side storytelling quite a bit. And I think The Witcher 2 would not have been how it was if it wasn't for Skyrim before. I think.
The Witcher 2?
3. They said 2.
Right.
3.
Yeah.
Because they said like, oh yeah, what if we actually make that many side stories and we put care and effort in them and we try to make them all interesting. Again, not perfect. There were some side stories that were better than the others. However, Witcher 3 was pretty fucking good.
Yeah. That game, to me, did not feel long. But it took me like 300 hours to finish.
I played it twice.
Yeah, I know.
I played it twice because I was like, I want to just make some new choices and do some more things and just engage it differently. Did I make new choices? No. I just fell in the same choices I did before.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to do different choices, but that's probably for another episode.
Yeah, but it tells you that you can do something very long well. And The Witcher 3 is one of the examples.
I would argue that it still suffers a bit, though, because let's take Witcher 3 as an example, because I said it didn't feel long, and I'll stand by that, but it had a main quest that it did not really work well with all the side content and all the distractions and everything, and the jokey quests and the more serious quests and the ones that fleshed out that were like short stories, or they could have been an entire game by themselves, like the Bloody Baron, without spoiling things, because I don't know, it's been a while, but it's a very long game, so
Bloody Baron actually being one of the best quests in any game ever.
That could have been a standalone game. Okay, like it was a 10-hour quest.
I think now though we're talking more about dissonance and actually like urgency of the main quest and how that affects side quests.
Yeah.
In that,
so I
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that like even though the length, the way they put everything together, there were a lot of engaging side quests, the world was interesting to explore, it had a lot of storytelling, it still suffered for the main story that it wanted to tell.
Yep. Yeah, because it made the whole main quest just feel a bit less urgent, less important, because I was too busy just going around on a boat in the islands and just picking up treasure.
Mm-hmm.
In that aspect,
so what about the linear games then that don't have the side questitis to suffer from?
Well, there have been some that feel too long. There have been some that feel too short. What a sentence! I should be a writer. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of a main like it's the pure linear game that felt too long.
So I mentioned God of War earlier, but it's not really purely linear. It's a bit Metroidvania.
You're talking about the new God of War.
Yeah, not the old ones.
Yeah. I would say that the second God of War did suffer more from the length. I don't know if you played the second one.
No, I've not played it yet.
Yeah.
Did you play the Plague Tale games?
I played the first one.
Okay. What did you think of that one?
I remember it was fine lengthwise. Certainly as a story though, it did not need 16 hours or 18 hours to finish. Was it 18 hours?
Yeah.
I don't remember how long it was.
I can't remember. The second one was longer even. I mean, maybe
it is on my
twice.
2 playlist.
I'm thinking about the second one, and there's a certain kind of way that even linear games sometimes suffer from their length or under their length, which is that they prolong encounters, they prolong action bits, they repeat gameplay segments a lot. Like you have to go from point A to point B, but there's gonna be 10 points between them with checkpoints where you have to go through a bunch of enemies, then go through a bunch of other enemies.
Actually, you know what?
Sneak through that area.
I have 2 that I would bring up now that I think of it. Alan Wake suffers from it.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah. There are moments that it just encounter after encounter, and it's just not that fun. It's more like whenever I played it, even now, like recently, I replayed it, I felt that, just get on with it. This is just the same shit. Can you stop throwing enemies at me? Yeah. It's not funny, and it's not fun anymore. Like, I know how to go across them. It's not challenging. Just move on. And it is a padding thing. Like, they're trying to pad out the time to make it seem like a more worthwhile game. And I think
I don't know if it's intentionally padding. I wonder how much of that is also the expectation of what gameplay is, what people think of as gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure. I think it is catering to expectations of people that expect to sit down and play more of a game. But it let's say it feels like padding.
Yeah, but that's not a feeling, it's a thought. The point I'm making here is that I'm thinking of a criticism I saw a lot directed towards the Uncharted 4, that it didn't have a lot of gameplay, that there were a lot of sections that you looked at things and interacted with things, or you walked through areas. At the time, I was, I guess, posting more on game forums and stuff online, and I saw this echoed by a lot of people. This is not gameplay, implying that gameplay is shooting stuff. And if you're not shooting stuff or climbing stuff, you're not playing.
Again, different discussion. I think it is kind of what people expect.
Yeah, but that makes me think of, like, if we criticize, if we argue that something like Alan Wake 1 suffers because it comes across as padded, because it repeats a lot of repetitive gameplay, like combat. Let's call it what it is. It's combat. It's not gameplay. Combat sections. If we think that is a problem, and a longer game that has more of that suffers from it or is detrimental to its quality, if people think that that is the only valid form of gameplay, like gunplay combat or some kind of combat anyway, then it's part of the problem, isn't it?
I would say so. I mean, this goes back to why I think that games as an art form is suffering. It's because it is not exactly an art form only. It is a mixture of business, art form, and technology. And when people are trying to, like, when people are looking at it just purely as a mindless, just pass my time kind of thing, the business comes along, and the business side is going to be like, where does the money need to go? Where are we going to get more money from? And this is where this type of mentality becomes valid. It's the status quo, let's say, that they're trying to maintain, which is what are the expectations of gamers and how can we cater to that?
Yeah, it's they're looking at it more as a product, and a lot of gamers or people who play video games also probably look at them as products rather than pieces of art. I want to be a little bit try to be fair towards devs as well, because I've come across a counter argument to some of what we're saying, in that sometimes games become too long not because they're trying to make them long, or they're trying to pad them, or they're thinking, oh, let's put more stuff in here because our game is too short, but because they get ahead of themselves and they want to put too much stuff in because they have too many ideas. And then they have to cut things out because in the game, because they're, I don't know, going over budget, either time-wise or money-wise. So I specifically come across this discussion from someone who worked on the first God of War, I think, or the second one, but was talking about the first God of War, that in the discussions that were happening in the studio, it was never, we need to make our game longer. It was more like, we have this idea and we have this idea and we have this idea. Oh shit, we have to cut things out because now it's getting a bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, this can happen. However, that's odd if they're talking about the second God of War, because the second God of War did feel repetitive at times.
So then maybe that's a matter of like quality control within the studio and what stays on the cutting floor and what goes into the game.
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, suffering from too many ideas can be its own separate issue, let's say, and knowing what to cut and when to cut it for pacing's sake is good. I think one of the things that did suffer from that was It Takes Two, if you remember.
Yes.
We played it together and it did have a shit ton of ideas thrown into it. But as a result, like us jumping from one idea to the other and one gameplay section to the other, some felt worse than the others. Like, clearly just worse. And while visually it never suffered, pacing-wise, I did feel like it was just pushing it.
Yeah. It's a game that I'd like for us to maybe give a bit more time, and maybe an episode where we talk about games we played together, like co-op. Almost not reviews, but it's a game we wanted to really talk about. So I want to say more about it, but at the same time, I'm thinking let's not make it about like critiquing It Takes Two. But it did suffer a bit from, we have a lot of ideas, let's put them all in here.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing, and kind of the game was riffing on different gaming ideas, which is fun. But it is a double-edged sword in the meaning that some of it is going to be less fun than the rest.
Yeah.
And the shitty story does not particularly help. But anyway, I think I kind of want to move to the real reason I want to make this episode.
Okay.
So basically, this episode is a disguise for a rant that I want to give about how I felt about playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay. How about it? I've not played it. I played maybe 50 hours of Breath of the Wild. I'm nowhere near finishing it. It's a game I go back to every summer or something, but yeah.
Okay, let's start with Breath of the Wild. So, Breath of the Wild, I feel, did the open world thing and main quest thing better than Witcher 3. Which means that...
Wow, okay.
Not that the writing was better. I'm not saying that. I genuinely think that The Witcher 3 had some of the best character writing in any game that I've played ever, probably.
So in what way do you think that Breath of the Wild did it better than?
That the main story, let's say, did not feel that pushing on you. It was a thing that you have to do, but the game basically says that you are not on the level that you need to be yet. Go out there and explore and become stronger. And like that, it did not take away from the main story in a way. It did not make the main story matter less, because everything was for the sake of the main story. It was you preparing for one battle.
Right. Okay.
And in that way, it felt justified. And lengthwise, yes, it was extremely long, but there was a lot of freedom in a way, because asterisk. If I went for all the side stuff, Breath of the Wild would have been unbearably long for me. Not for everyone, but for me it would have been unbearably long. But I went with my own pace, did the things that I wanted to do, and as such, it felt correct. Tears of the Kingdom, I was going in my own pace, and the side quests and everything that felt of actual matter to me were so long and so expansive that at some point I just felt that I was getting really fed up. So, let's say, similar to Breath of the Wild, there are multiple, let's say, main quests, quote unquote, but add an entire new map that's underground, which is, when I say an entire new map, I literally mean like the entire map is repeated underground. And you can explore the whole thing, and it's fucking huge. Plus 5 main quests, plus the last main quest. I played about 200 hours of it, and I had like a moment of clarity in February, and I was like, I'm not doing anything else. This is all I've been doing for 3 months now. I need to stop. And I stopped, and I've played many games since, and I feel very good about it. That was like, and it's a shame. It's a real shame, because I felt that Tears of the Kingdom had some of the most fun gameplay I've had playing a Zelda game in my life.
This makes me think of something then. So, if a game is good, why is it a problem then that it's so long and it takes you forever to beat? Like, what if you spent like 5 months playing on the Tears of the Kingdom? Why is that bad?
It's not a matter of it being bad. It's a matter of how many times am I going to do the same thing? How many times am I going to put on the same ship to go from the collectible to the next collectible to the next collectible? How many times am I going to go and do tiny puzzles to find a Korok? How many times? And albeit this is something that I could have avoided just by streamlining my own gameplay, but there's always like two sides of myself that clash with each other when I play video games. And one is the completionist side, and one is the I want to experience other things too side, and I like to have a middle, a beginning, a middle, and an end. And these two clashed really hard when playing Tears of the Kingdom, because there is quality content out there, a lot of quality content, and I have not finished it, and I will finish it at some point, but I just really fucking need a break. But it just did not run out at any point. I will just, when I don't know how to explain it, but it's like you suddenly look back at how much you've done, and you look at the list of things you have to do, and it's still as much as you've already done. And you're like, how long can this take? Like, I understand that I loved it, and I loved many, many, many hours of the game, but even good things sour, like, eventually.
Right, so if I'm getting you right, then in the individual parts of that game were all good, but you reached the point where you were doing them so many times over and over and over and over that they wore themselves out.
Yeah. It is, like...
Right.
You might love pizza, right? If you keep eating pizza every single day for, like, 5 months, pizza is not going to be the same. And this was the case with Tears of the Kingdom. It's that it was so demanding of my time. It took so much of my time. I did everything that I could in it without getting too sidetracked. Like, I did not try to go completely out of my way to find every single one thing that I could. But it was just too long.
So, let's say, if you loved pizza, how would you enjoy the pizza? If Tears of the Kingdom is an endless pizza, what would you need to do for that to not wear out?
I mean, I would space it out, but there is one thing about video games. Spacing them out can be worse. Like, you cannot get unused to pizza if you space it out. Pizza's gonna be pizza. You're gonna enjoy it. But if...
I don't remember how to eat pizza. What the fuck?
Do you fold it? Do you fold it in the middle? Why are there cuts?
Oh, you roll it. You roll it up. Don't you roll it?
Like a burrito?
Like...
But with video games, if you space it out too much, like, and if I play Tears of the Kingdom once a month, it's gonna also have the little buffering period of me trying to remember where I am, remember what I'm playing, which is something that happens in any video game. You leave video games for 5 years and then you come back and be like, why the fuck is Dark Souls so hard? I haven't played in 3 years.
That's very interesting that you bring this up, because this no longer happens to me with the Souls games. I think I've played them enough that if you put me in front of a boss right now, I would be able. It would take me like half an hour to get to warm up, and I will be able to do it. Like, because I did it recently, I was surprised that this happened. I hadn't played Dark Souls 3 since last March.
I'll tell you why, though. It's that you, like, compared to before, gameplay from Dark Souls has been so ingrained and influential to so many other games that you have played similar games. However, I still find it that it's better for me and my focus to, like, start a game and finish a game.
Yeah, I get that. And even though I've not forgotten, like, it's at the moment, right now for me, it seems like a bicycle kind of thing, that you never forget to ride a bicycle. Like, if I pick up Gears of War and I haven't played Gears of War in 5 years, I remember how to play Gears. I may have like a very short period of adjustment for the sensitivity of shooting and aiming or stuff like that, or the window for the active reload, but it will be like small things to get used to, the similar way that, I don't know, you get into a new car or you hop on a new bicycle and you have to get used to it a little bit, to how it behaves, but you remember what to do.
But
the problem,
But what I was going to say is that, yes, but you have played a lot of Gears of War and you know the story.
Yeah.
If you leave something that you have not finished the story in the middle, and then you pick it up again later, parts of the story stop being fresh in your mind. As such, you are missing that flow as well.
I think it would depend, and this comes down to then how games manage reminding you what you were doing and what you were supposed to be doing, and also how memorable they are themselves. Because in a way, there is, I'm not gonna get too technical here, but there is some research off the top of my head to indicate that if we leave things unfinished, they stay on our mind for longer, so we remember them more. So if you don't finish something, and I think that comes into the completionist urge as well. Like, if you're walking down the corridor and you see a chest with the corner of your eye, every step you take away from that chest and you go, yeah, I'm not going to bother with that, your mind is starting to go, yeah, but that's there. And every step I take is a step further from me getting back to it. How longer will it take me to walk back there? How much am I going to spend to do that? And I need to keep it in my mind, and I keep rehearsing it, so people remember more unfinished tasks than finished tasks. Because when something is finished, your mind goes, all right, that's done, let's move on to the next one. There's closure. So you could argue that a good game with a good narrative that you've actually engaged with emotionally and cognitively, you wouldn't really forget a lot of it by leaving it for a couple of months.
Well, yeah, but would you forget some of it? And this is also me saying that I have two sides clashing. It's a bit of personal thing. I like beginning, middle, and ends. I like finishing things. Yeah. I don't like leaving things on the side unless I hate them.
That's exactly my point. Your brain doesn't like it.
Yeah. So I would not be able to approach it like that. It's just not feasible for me. So I'm doing one break. I'm going to go back and kind of suffer as a result.
What if it's not about taking long breaks from the game. But instead of eating lunch all the time, you eat breakfast and you eat dinner as well. Like if your lunch is pizza, you'll have some porridge in the morning or something.
You're gonna eat porridge and then have pizza? Jesus Christ, your stomach is gonna be like...
You could slap the porridge on the pizza. It's pizza, porridge pizza. That sounds... that sounds interesting.
I am sorry, Italy. I am very sorry, Italy.
You could argue it would improve the porridge. I don't know. I love porridge.
You would argue it would destroy the pizza.
What if the pizza base instead of dough is porridge?
Stop. Did you just say you love porridge?
Yes.
Who fucking loves porridge?
I do. It's great.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You're Greek. You're supposed to like things that taste good.
I don't know, man. Porridge tastes good.
Yeah, well, I forget that you were talking to the person that does like homeopathy coffee.
I haven't had coffee like that in a while, but I have taken to topping up my tea now, so that eventually that becomes homeopathy tea as well. It has the essence of tea in it. Anyway, back to the point I was trying to make, in that what if something like Tears of the Kingdom is your lunch, and you're also eating breakfast and dinner? Because a lot of times that's what I try to do, at least with these really long games, and I did it even with The Witcher. That I will have my long game, and I will find shorter games, maybe up to 5 hours long, and I will, between the sessions, or like maybe I'll play Witcher once or twice a week, or maybe once a week, and between them, when I don't have the time to sit down and do a 4-hour gaming session, I'll play something shorter, and then I find that I don't burn out so easily with long games if I do that. And it also scratches the itch of wanting to play something else and have something with a beginning and an end. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is becoming a bit of like, how can you approach it in a way that is healthy? But the problem in this is that I just burnt out completely. Like, I'm in no mood to go back to Tears of the Kingdom. I just got really fed up.
So that makes me think that it's not necessarily the game's problem, that it's not necessarily a problem that games are too long, but it also might have to do with other factors here. Like, how do we, like, what are our play styles? What are our minds like? What are our compulsions when we play? And also, I'm thinking, when we were kids, I can't imagine that it would ever be a problem that a game would take hundreds of hours to finish. I think that I would be excited if I had a game when I was like, I don't know, 10, and I had 3 games that I played over and over.
Yeah, but then we had 3 games. That's the difference.
Yes. I wonder if we're causing ourselves some suffering and distress here. If we're taking away from our experience of enjoying the games we enjoy, the games that are good, because we also have a bit of FOMO about all the other games that are out.
Certainly, like that's the thing is my backlog of games that I want to play only grows. I cannot chip it down. Yeah. It will never be 0. And the more longer games that are there, the more of them I would not be able to ever touch. So, of course, there is a FOMO. And, of course, this is part of the factor that I got burnt out with Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, because I find myself, like, some of the thoughts I have when I'm looking at a game, and I'm like, if I play that, when the fuck am I going to play all these other games? And it's like, maybe it would be good for me to just focus on the present. If this is a game that I'm liking, let's just enjoy this. If I get around to playing the other stuff, I'll play the other stuff.
I will put it out that I really love Tears of the Kingdom and a lot of the things that I played, but I did not love everything that I did in it.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm... Well, if anyone that really loves Zelda out there, please just... It's okay, people can have other opinions and feel different about things. I do not want people to feel that I'm attacking Tears of the Kingdom. It's just that my experience with it. And that's the thing that I've seen people that I feel kind of the same way. It is a bit of a gargantuan task. It is intimidating. It is endless in a way. And yeah, there were so many games of these last few years that I really were looking forward to play. And this was just not allowing me it because I just need the closure in a way. And not to say that this is the case with everything. Like, Zelda is a weird case. Tears of the Kingdom specifically is a weird case because the side content, I actually think it was good. There is a lot of games that I feel the side content is a complete waste of time. And this is like, I'm going to go back to Ubisoft. I feel the main content is a waste of time most of the time. Like, imagine how I feel about the side content. It has never done it for me. I have never managed to finish a Ubisoft game and feel good about it.
Oh, you have.
What?
Rayman.
That's not the open world Ubisoft.
No, but it's an Ubisoft game.
It's a Ubisoft. It's just, anyway. Let's say the standard Ubisoft game, the open world stuff.
The open world ones. There's a Star Wars one coming out soon.
Cool. I will not play
it. Me neither. I am not touching another Ubisoft game unless, I don't know, if it goes on a subscription and I have access to it, I'll check it out. But that's the link.
There was a time that Ubisoft was putting money in like smaller games that were actually interesting and fun. I don't know to what extent they do it now, because I haven't seen anything that is
I have no idea, to be honest. I've not really been following. Also, I'm a bit aware that like let's not make it an episode necessarily about Ubisoft. I know it comes up because they have a really tired formula for their games.
Okay, let's go to Bethesda. That's better.
I think a lot of what it comes down to is that a lot of those games, to me, feel like chores. It's more like work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's no sense of discovery. If you turn all the notifications and all the signs on the map off, then it becomes almost unplayable because you have to kind of rely on them. And there's no real... It's the collectible problem in Uncharted. There's nothing in them. It's just blinks on the map. And you just go and press triangle.
Yeah, and that was kind of the problem in Skyrim. However, in Skyrim, you could argue you could go without your prompts that you had to follow, your waypoints.
Oh, you can, because in Skyrim, there is a sense of place. You can discover things as you walk about. I wanted to walk about. I didn't want to fast travel in that game.
Yeah. It is a matter of how you handle it. It is a matter of how it is. However, it is a trend that... these longer games are getting more and more pushed, and games as a service is something that is kind of overtaking a lot of the gaming sphere. A lot of good studios get pulled by just people that make really bad management decisions, decide to throw like their working people to something that's going to be a live service game that's going to survive for 3 weeks before they eventually just shut it down. Eventually, like, essentially deleting the entirety of, like, years of work from, like, so many people. Then they're going to lose money, then they're going to fire these people, and then people outside, they're going to have an extremely long game with no real substance that they're just not going to want to play. Mm-hmm. So...
If it's even available to play.
That's a different issue.
And yeah, I think if we're to sum up a little bit here, what we've been saying all this time is that some of it might be down to quality control from the devs themselves, that they get too excited with all their ideas and there's not enough moderation, maybe, in what they put in a game. But from the business point of view, a lot of those people would see video games as a product. A lot of people playing video games see video games as a product as well. So quality gets mistaken with quantity, or quantity gets mistaken for quality. And it's a chicken and egg almost, because Someone puts out a shorter game, they get criticized and shut on for the game being too short. Someone puts on a longer game, and then people praise it for the length. So, on the one hand, the businesses want our attention and want our attention undivided. So then we come to the problem as like the things that I'm suffering and you, the FOMO. We're thinking, well, if I'm playing this game now, if that's my next game, when am I going to play all these other ones? That's exactly the thing that they want you to do, play other games. And then it's the live service, so they're selling you subscriptions to products. They're not making pieces of art. Because for me, I would rather pay £60 for a 3-hour game that will move me, that will make me feel things, that will make me think things, and that will be memorable, and I will put it next to great books that I've read, or films, or music, and it will be something that now is part of me. It's changed me somehow. That is way more valuable than a 400-hour game that I'm just killing time to or playing while I'm listening to a podcast.
It is very fun because, like, with what you're saying right now, you're basically going to the conclusion that I wanted to get to from the beginning of this podcast. That is, I think both me and you are here with this very similar mindset of we are not here to look at video games as a simple pastime that is just mindless fun. We are here to actually like look at it as an art form, as something that actually has things to say and can actually help art like move forward. And it is very weird to see that it is people like us that are in the minority, that people just don't recognize the value of like small studios with bigger ideas that try to do something different and something new, and instead they just go for the same things. And I know it's a matter of preference, I know it's a matter of what people like, but
I don't know if it's just a matter of preference. I think it sits in a larger context of culture and politics and philosophies, in that like things are valid if they have good bang for buck. Things are valid if you can make money out of them. Like, I remember listening to some podcast at some point, or some discussion, I can't remember what this was, so I can't really point to it, but it was something about how do you speak to non-gamers about video games, or something like that. And I'm like, well, that's an interesting topic, and maybe, well, let's see, maybe I'll learn something out of it, or it will open my mind somehow. And most of what the people on it were arguing was, this can be a real job. People can make money out of playing video games, or there can be professional video gamers, or there's esports and stuff like that. And I'm like, is the only thing that makes it valid the fact that you can make money out of it? So where's the artistic value in that? Why is it not valid for something just to be beautiful, or to be thoughtful, or to be thought-provoking, or to be real expression of human conditions? It has to be, this is a capitalistic product that will make more capital.
Yeah.
And therefore, games are good. I'm like, huh? Really?
Yeah, I think it is important, like, as a takeaway from our podcast, to see that it is something that we don't feel like and we don't agree with. This is not what we seek out when we just play video games.
And I think the gaming press itself also has some responsibility to bear for this. Because you remember how reviews used to be like? Especially on like PC magazines? Broken down into graphics, 6 out of 10, music, 8 out of 10, gameplay, this, a difficulty curve, that, and they were scoring the game like that, and then it was an average of everything?
Yeah. This is still being done.
Yeah, in some ways it's still being done, and in many ways reviews were product purchasing guides. It wasn't about let's review this as a piece of art. It was let's review it as a product. Is it worth your money? How long does it take to finish and stuff like that?
I think it is okay if we're to go into game journalism and why it doesn't work, and if we're to go into ratings, because I have a feeling about ratings too. I have thoughts about ratings too. Imagine that. That's completely different discussions, but
I don't think those people were doing it with ill intent, though. These were just gamers who went into writing about video games, but they approached them with that mindset.
I do not think anyone that plays video games for fun or for just for their own sake has ill intent. This is what we've been served. This is what we learn to expect and learn to grow with. This is not going to be something that changes because of... Well, no, it's going to change because of us, but it's going to change because of us if a huge collective suddenly decides that they need and want something different. This is made due to decisions from managers that just see that something sells and let's make more of that. Let's expand on that. Without really thinking that maybe people were going to get sick of this thing. Or maybe there's another audience out there that actually cares for this medium as an actual art form and not as a pastime.
No one snowflake can cause an avalanche, but put enough of them together and then it happens. Nothing is going to change. We, you and I, are not going to change anything, but we can be a voice in the noise or something.
And to be honest, if what we're talking about now reaches 10 people and they feel that they agree, they feel a little bit seen out of this, I'm happy. I think job done.
And I don't think at this point that we'll see the change come from the big games. They cost way too much. There's no room for risk. There's no room for creativity. The AAA gaming industry has become too big for its own good.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm more interested to see what are the small stuff coming out. The stuff that don't need to sell 20 million copies within 2 months, otherwise they go bust.
Well, guess what? The industry is rotten. Kind of shit.
And it's a shame because I do like my big games. I like great graphics and big productions and stuff like that, but it's too safe. It has to be too safe. It's like, how many Marvel movies can you watch?
Yeah, I mean, that is always a problem. And for all I shit on The Last of Us 2, I did feel that it wasn't safe, and I did appreciate it for that.
Yeah. So, Alan Wake 2 as well. That game was the least safe big game I've played in a long while.
Yeah, that game is going to turn away people very easy. But for those people that have this niche need, they're going to fucking love the shit out of this game. Because it was great.
Yeah.
So,
we agree that capitalism is the problem.
I think so.
Go not buy Disco Elysium and play it. Borrow it. I don't know.
Why not buy it?
Because the people who made it are not going to benefit out of it anymore.
I am behind on some story here.
So, okay, off the top of my head, and this is a more complicated story than I'll make it out to be, so people please go and look it up. But the creators, the people who wrote that game, were pushed out of the company to the point that they themselves told people to go and pirate the game. So,
wow.
And now the people who own the game want to make a sequel without the people who created Disco Elysium. So let's see how that turns out. It's a great irony, but also very fitting that this happened to the creators of this game.
Oh, Disco Elysium out of all things.
If you played it, you know why I'm saying this. If you're not, maybe go play that game. It's
I cannot recommend that game enough.
It's great.
It's extremely sad to hear this because these creators are insanely talented. I need to see what they're gonna plan on doing after, so I make sure to support.
I don't know if they're gonna do anything. If I remember correctly, this whole game was the culmination of years and years of traditional RPG writing and world building. So they weren't video game makers. They created that world. They created all that setting for a pen and paper RPG, if I remember correctly. And then they eventually made it a video game. And then they lost it to their publisher.
Shit. Well, this is sad.
It is. It was very sad.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That is a very positive way of ending things. Thumbs up. Woohoo. Gaming. Fun. We are not living in a dystopia. No, we're not.
No. So yeah, that's that took a very different turn from where we started.
It is what I expected. So what is the conclusion?
The theme that runs through it is that if you see games as products and subscription vehicles, you get the problems that we're having with a lot of these games. You see them as pieces of art, it's different. How long is a song doesn't mean anything about the quality of a song. How long a film is doesn't say anything about the quality of the film. How long a book is doesn't say anything about the length of the book. And I would say that even in those media, there's similar problems. Books that were considered novels now are considered novellas because they're not long enough. To write a book and get it published now, it has to be certain length.
I will disagree with you, though, regarding songs. I think every single song should be 60 minutes long. Dope Smoker from Sleep is amazing.
The last Metallica album had some very long songs that didn't need to be that long.
Metallica have made very long songs that don't need to be that long since very, very, very early in their career, I would say.
Yeah, that's been the problem their entire career, actually. And I think I know why that is. And I kind of get it. But like if you play Master of Puppets, when you come back to the verse, it feels fucking amazing. And I think every time they try to write a new song, they try to recapture that feeling. It's just every new song they write is not Master of Puppets.
So is length good long or bad long?
It depends how you use it.
Bye.